And welcome back. Today we're flying out the MiG-23MLA, and even though this was supposed to be the best plane of the patch, at least performance-wise, because Germany no longer suffers, I think I used up all my luck with the A10 game that I uploaded 3 days ago, the 10 kill 1v7. I highly advise you to check that out. It's an absolute clown fiesta of a match, pretty funny. But why did I have such a horrible experience in this thing? Disconnects, team kills, missiles that don't render, lag spikes, everything that could go wrong basically went wrong, so I think I used up all my luck flying the A10 Thunderbolt. And that's not to say that this plane is horrible, it's actually pretty good. But before we get started, I want to compare this thing to the Russian MiG-23MLD. The MiG-23MLD has leading edge slats, this thing has not. This thing is an MLD with the MiG-23M wings, making it so that you turn a little bit worse. You do have a better prolonged turn, you have better energy retention, but the retention of the MiG-23MLD was good enough. So I'd rather have a little bit of extra turn, instantaneous turn, AOA, being able to get the shot in very quickly, get the fight over with and run away. This thing might raid fight a little bit better, but raid fighting at top tier is a sure way to get you killed, unless it's one-on-one, and even then it can be kinda sketchy. The MLD can dogfight planes like the MiG-17 and the MiG-15 bis, and being able to dogfight those planes in the supersonic at 11.3 is pretty damn noteworthy. And I'm not talking about raid fighting, I'm talking about just full on dogfight, pull on the stick as hard as you can, slow down as hard as you can, and try energy traps, out-turning, it does it all. The MiG-17 is of course a little bit more maneuverable, but you have so much power, especially with the wings folded out. I do recommend you to run the wings on fully automatic. You can fold them out once you start dogfighting, that's what I do. On the start of the game, I will fold them all the way out, keep the wings on automatic, and then once I need the wings folded out, I just press the semi-automatic button and out the wings come. If you want more footage on the MLDs, or the MiG-23s, they all kind of fly the same. I also have a video on the MLD as well as one on the MiG-23MF. They all fly largely the same. At the end of the day, at top tier, it's more about armament, of which this thing has a pretty good kit. The R24s are amazing. I run the R24Ts more often than not because I can just shoot them off and ignore them. Don't have to guide them in with the radar, don't have to worry about notching, don't have to worry about giving them an RWR ping. I can just shoot them off, and if they are not looking in that direction, the missile will blow them up. R60s, they're not R60Ms, but R60s are still pretty good. They're not amazing, they work, they're good enough. And the GSH-23, the water pistol with sulfuric acid. It hits extremely hard. It's just a little bit of a bitch to lead. It's very low on the plane. It's a very low velocity gun. So your main armament will be your missiles, but that's normal in top tier unless you have a Vulcan. So how do you play this thing? Well, you just stay extremely fast and you outturn basically everyone. Still, just keep in mind that if someone starts on your 6th, it's a little bit of a different story, because if they start on your 6, you actually bleed so little energy that they will stay on your ass forever. It's very hard to make people overshoot in this thing because you simply do not have the speed bleed, the AOA and the instantaneous turn rate, which makes it kind of annoying. But let's look at the main strength of this plane. I have an F5 as well as an F4E, and well, it's 2v7 at this point because one just crashed. And they've been tailing me for a while. I'm not gonna bore you with me shooting R24s and stuff like that. He is gonna overcommit completely. He will kiss the ground. There we go. And now we are gonna be going head on with an F4E. The F4E here is the only person I know is actually here right now. So I'm gonna use the terrain a little bit. I know he doesn't have pulse Doppler, but rather safe than sorry. We pull up over his nose, and this is what the plane is good at. Prolonged fighting. You do want to make sure that you don't keep too much energy, because you're just gonna end up in front of this guy's guns. Even now, I bled a lot of speed, and here comes the F4EJ. The F4EJ is a little bit of a boat, so I roll out of the way at the perfect time. Still very sketchy. That could have very easily killed me. I'm not gonna pretend like I calculated that. That was pretty lucky. But from here on out, I have this under control. As long as they do not play it smart and one of them runs away, comes back in. If both of these two guys stick the fight with me like they are doing right now, I will win this. I don't have much trouble winning like this. So we got the F4E, who is going way too slow. The F4EJ just merged with me, so he still has to do a full 180. And because the EJ turns so damn slowly, I have some time to pull straight, shoot the E's wing off, and pull back into the EJ. It does give him a little bit of an opportunity to pull back into us here. Luckily, The normal E is in a flat spin, he is gonna be completely dead. And now I just have to stick the fight to the EJ. Is he going to kill me? As long as no one else intervenes, this will be completely fine. And the EJ, well, it's an E without the slats, the leading edge slats, so it turns a little bit like the F4J, except it doesn't have the gun port to weigh it down. It's still a Phantom, and it's a Phantom without the Agile Eagle, so all I have to do is just make sure that I kill him as quickly as I can. So I'm trying to turn as aggressively as possible, because I just want to kill this guy, and then make sure that I get my speed back to clutch the game. Rip my flaps off. Luckily the EJ is too slow to really do anything, and we shoot a second burst, and off comes his wing. We are gonna pop an order here, just so they can't blind hunt me. And I'm gonna be diving. I'm gonna be hugging the deck. I want to RTB right now. And I'm gonna tell you in advance, no, I didn't win this game. We are gonna be landing. We're gonna be killing one more guy. And then after I take off, I R24 one guy in the head on. But it's too late. I just took off at 1v3 on the deck. I'm not even going, I'm barely going supersonic. And I just get my ass kicked. So, there is that. R60 out on the F3. That completely lost me. No idea where he went with his eyes, but that's gonna be a free kill. Now what if you find yourself caught out, you rushed into the wrong direction, and now you are alone versus the entire enemy team? Keep in mind, your friendly team is still completely alive too. So we are just gonna bleed them of all their energy and set them up for my team. Cut the afterburner, drop some flares. Missile didn't really seem to be fooled by them, so I dropped a few more, and I will keep dropping those flares until I can see the missile react to them. If you do not see the missile react to them, expect the missile to still go for you, so don't turn it into a routine where you cut afterburner, drop flares, pull a little bit, and then just start flying straight thinking you have fooled it. Sometimes RNG is not on your side, and you want to be aware of that before the missile reaches your cockpit, preferably. Right now I have 3 MiG-23s in the mix. It's an MLA and 2 MiG-27s. And why is that not a problem now? Because, well, I am basically them, but better. I still have a better engine, and my wings are the same as theirs, so they don't really pull that much harder than me. See this thing as the MiG-23MF, except it has a better engine and it has better quote-unquote missiles, because the R60s are of course worse than the R60Ms. I try to stay vigilant here. I'm trying to look around as much as I can. MiG-23MLA is going to end up in front of us. We gun him down real quick and we are just going to exit and leave. MiG-27 on R6 went for another target, so now we are finally in the clear. That took almost a minute, but after a little bit I can start getting my speed back up, going Mach 1 again. And now I just want to do the same thing and pay attention and look who to kill. I have a Kafir on the other side of the map, but the F4J here is a lot more dangerous. So I'm going to shoot an R24 at him. He shouldn't have a warning here, and he hopes that he doesn't see or doesn't flare it. He does flare it, but he gets killed by my teammate, another MiG-27. So now I'm going to go for the MiG-27 as on the FGR. And why is that? Because this guy is alone. I'd rather kill this guy and then regroup again with the MiG-27 that also follow me to this target. And then the three of us can engage that other furball. If we go over there and this MiG-27 wins the fight versus the FGR, which he very likely will, we are sandwiched. And it's now 1 or 2v4 with 1 on our 6, 3 in our front, which is not a great mix. Kill gets stolen, I almost get team killed, so keep looking around, people. It doesn't matter if you can't see it, if it's bullshit, because it is, he should watch his fire, but at the end of the day, if you are not paying attention to it, you are the one that's gonna be suffering from it. So make sure to also look at your teammate, just pretend you're colorblind and every tag is red. Just be careful once you start shooting missiles, because you want to make sure that then you'll see color for a little while, so you don't start team killing on your own. So we have a Kafir here and an F4E, and the F4E is not much of a problem because he doesn't have pulse Doppler, so we can just stay low, we can chaff him pretty easily. And I'm just gonna go for the Kafir right now because he's gonna have the most ease to run us down, and I want to be careful of that. The second the Kafir goes down, the F4E can't do anything, and the second the F4E goes down, the Kafir also can't do anything. So it's a little bit of both, but the F4E is already engaged with the FGR, and the FGR is, well, not likely to win the dogfight, but the F4E is not going to be out-turning an AIM-7 too once he's going pretty slow. And here we are for the last game. It's going to be a little bit of a clutch. I had this Kafir on my 6 for the last, well, 17 minutes of fuel. He wasn't really breaking off. He's finally flying into a different direction, and now he doesn't want to do anything with me. He's finally going to turn in here, but I'm not going to get a lock. I'm using ACM mode here with the pulse Doppler mode. I don't manage to pull in here. And I want to make sure that I'm using MTI on the deck here, because right now I'm actually using the radar variant. And why do I want to make sure that I'm in MTI? The MTI mode will make it so that they do not get an actual RWR warning once I launch the missile, which is fantastic. Do want to make sure that I'm not going to get shot down by the Kafir here, because those AIM-9Ds as well as the PL5s of the J7 you'll see later on are pretty damn nasty in terms of range if you're not paying attention to them. The F4E was completely oblivious. He was paying attention to the MiG-23 that's flying in front of him. He's not really looking around anymore because he's very occupied with getting that kill. And if you see someone on the 6 of someone that's actively shooting, very likely he is not going to be looking behind him. Worried for the MiG-23 there, for him to go down to the F4J. Luckily he didn't, but I also know that there is an FGR coming in, so I want to lock him up with MTI mode. He won't get any warnings. I'm just going to shoot the missile now. He probably thinks it's an R24. He's not doing a very good job of dodging it. And there he goes, set on fire, and he's going to be a burning wreck in the next 4 seconds. Just as promised. There he goes. And now we have a J7E, an F4J, as well as a Kafir that are all spotted in the middle of the map. And what do I want to do? I'm kind of running low on fuel, and I know that they will be likely as well. So I'm going to be going to my side of the map. And it's not going to be to use the SAM sites. It's not going to be to camp the M247s. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get as far away from their airfield as humanly possible. Because I'm low on fuel. They will be likely too, especially the Kafir and the F4J. The J7E might be a little bit higher on fuel. And my hope here was that the J7 would stick on me. I could dogfight them just to show you guys how it is to dogfight the J7E. It's not very fun, trust me. And the F4J as well as the Kafir would be turning back to base, giving me ample time to actually 1v1 the guy. And then turn the end of the game into a 2v2. Unfortunately, it is 2v3 and I don't have chat, so I can't ask the MiG-23 to actually form up with me, regroup with me. I did it with the chat commands, and luckily he didn't rush in on his own. Right now, again, I'm in MTI mode. I'm going to be on the deck. I switched to the R24Ts again. I do that very often if there's a low sun like this, and especially late game. And I'm just looking for radar signatures, and I see on my left on the RWR, I see that I'm pinging something, or something is pinging me. So I'm kind of turning towards it. I see something on my radar. Not a solid lock, but now I see his dot, so we're going to be locking him up. And again, we're going to shoot a little bit low, to give him the idea that it's not actually tracking. So I shoot a little bit to the side. Then I pull back in. I'm trying to notch him already. And beautiful, R24 takes him down instantly. Now I want to be aware, however, because there's still a J7E as well as a Kafir around, which both of those planes are pretty damn annoying to face in this thing, because well, they have that instantaneous turn rate as well as the rate fight, because well, guess what, the Kafir has insane energy and the J7E has insane energy retention. Kafir is directly ahead of us, but I have to dodge these missiles right now, and I'm not really too worried about the Kafir. The Defas are very annoying guns to use. I'm going almost supersonic. I was expecting the Kafir to get pretty close, so I started pre-flaring. Even though I'm not looking at him, I'm not really worried about an AIM-9G in this front aspect. And the Defas are not really much of a problem either. J7 is on us now, and the Kafir actually breaks off and is going to use his energy, his speed, to get away from the fight and then come back in and like do boom and zoom runs on us. Great choice. However, I can now bring your J7E in to my other teammate, turning this into a very quick 2v1. The J7E has very good energy retention. However, the acceleration, while it's still a MiG-21, it's not as ridiculous as some other top tiers. So I'm just gonna be bleeding this guy of energy together with my teammate, and in the 2v1 the J7E, even the J7E will eventually run out of energy. And notice I'm kind of doing the same thing as the Kafir, but I'm keeping it much closer. You don't need to break off 15 kilometers and come back in. He probably thinks about doing a sneak attack. So I'm gonna be countering that. The J7E is not really a problem right now, he's way too slow, and the Kafir probably expects me to go for the J7. So I pop up over the hill, I lock him up, MTI mode, R24R. He eats the missile, takes both his wingtips off and probably does a shitload of other damage, and down he goes. Kafir down, and now it's a 2v1. J7E, one-on-one, I don't really want to dogfight, especially if he's low on fuel. So that fight that I wanted to show you when I was going RTB when they all broke off, it's probably a good thing that I didn't get to. The J7E probably would have just, well, kicked my shit in. So right now, 2v1, all I have to do is make sure that I keep the pressure on, and I can do the same thing as a Kafir and just run away, but why would I? I'm gonna lock him up, radar slave the missile, doesn't really do much, but hey, I have him radar locked anyway, I might as well use it. And I can do the thing, as I was saying, with the Kafir now, but I can also just stick on his 6, he's pretty slow, I'm gonna be pressuring him. And by doing this, I give the other teammate here a lot of opportunities to actually kill him. If you both are gonna start do boom and zooming, or if you both are gonna start doing the turn fighties, you're probably gonna have a bad time. You wanna both do something else. J70 is crit, hit him again, with all my shots, hit him once more, set him on fire, and down he goes. Hope you enjoyed it, the MiG-23MLA. I'm gonna be going to the usual content again, as we covered most of the patch vehicles. Hope you enjoyed it. See you all in the next one.